Hi, my name is Carina and welcome to the Carina Chronicles. Today I'm showing you all the books that I've read in January 2023 and I didn't start the year very great, I have to admit. So, let's start with this. So I started off this year in a reading slump, which was transported from 2022. I came in a reading slump because there was a book that I found extremely boring and I really wasn't capable of DNFing because I am that way. So instead I got in a big slump, and to get out of it I reread a favorite which was over 1,000 pages, which was also not the way to go. Even though I gave it 5 stars again, it wasn't the way to go. So I was still in a reading slump getting into 2023, and that made me only finish a book on the 15th of January. So we started off horrible, and that book I also read in a day. So it's actually funny because I have found some things about reading slumps and I am going to show you them in a video that I'm publishing tomorrow. So if you're also in a reading slump just like me and you want to get out of it, I am showing you some tips and tricks that worked for me in tomorrow's video. But today I'm going to show you the result of getting out of my reading slump in the middle of January. So let's start. The first book is the absolute worst book I've ever read. I made a whole ranting review video of this book, but it did get me out of the slump because I was so invested in how bad it was that, whoa, it really took me out of that slump. I was like, yes, I want to read more. That was Pretty Girls Make Graves by Stephanie Holmes. As I said, I made a whole video about why this is so bad. I also made quite an elaborate review on Goodreads and Instagram if you want to check it out. But in short, it's really, really badly written. Like, there are a lot of people that can get triggered by this, which is not, of course, why it's badly written, but there are a lot of trigger warnings. Then all those topics are handled very unpleasantly and not well, in my opinion. There are a lot of people that could take offense of this because there are a lot of people that get treated very badly in this book. And it's also lazy writing. She, instead of writing and believing in her own talent, she writes like, oh, this looks like quoting another book. Or this person feels like being in a novel of quoting an author that writes certain books. So it was just really bad. I think it's supposed to be like a sexy romance against a dark academia vibe, but also the romance wasn't sexy. At least not to me. So if you really want to read this, just a warning, there are a lot of trigger warnings here. And you also need to be in the vibe to read a bad book because, well, it wasn't it. 1 star if you didn't fully grasp that yet. Then the second book I read was also a dark academia because I was getting in the vibes. Like, I felt the dark academia vibe and was like, this isn't it. I need a dark academia that is better. And one that was better is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. But not that much better. I am very disappointed to say this was not a favorite. I'm still in a doubt between 2 and 3 stars. There were some parts in here that I found really good and that I really thought, oh, this is going to be great. And for that only, I would like to give it 3 stars. But overall, I was extremely bored. Maybe the genre is just not for me, but I can hardly believe that. Dark academia sounds exactly like my kind of book. So maybe I'm just a little bit more strict on and a little bit more harsh in my reviews because I love the genre so much. That is possible. But I also thought this writing was kind of confusing. There were different timelines in between. And in the beginning I found it very confusing to see which timeline was which. We have different characters and a lot of really bad things happen to these characters because we don't know the characters yet, you don't get touched that much. like someone disappears and you're like, okay, that's probably not nice. At least that's how I felt. But we should be like devastated that this person is gone. But, well, we don't really get to develop like a connection with this person if they disappear after 2 chapters. So, really wasn't my vibe, unfortunately. Done with Dark Academia for a while because this was not a good example. Still in a doubt between 2 and 3 stars. You will eventually see on my Goodreads review which one it became. I haven't written it yet. I think 3 stars because there were some good parts in here. Although I also think there are like ghosts in here and you can like attack the ghosts with poems, which I already find a little bit strange, but there are also not poems written by Leigh Bardugo, but just quoted other poems. And they're not about ghosts specifically. I just thought that was very weird. Like something someone that's writing fan fiction would write. That doesn't have the time to fully develop their own world, their own poems, their own fantasy where it's based on, but in their free time are just writing a little bit and are like, okay, to get this story done, I need a little bit of a basis and I'm going to base it on things that already exist. Same with Pretty Girls Make Graves. So, well, I am going to read Hellbent because there was a character in here that was really interesting and kind of well written, and the second book is probably more about that person. So, I'm going to read it, I guess. And then the last one is a review copy that I should have read like ages ago. And that is A Curse of Crows by Dedroog. And this is a little bit hard to review because I have not yet finished it yet, but I know I will in January. But I need to film it now. I have no other time to do this. So that is why I'm filming it now. I am liking it up till now. I just think it's not really my cup of tea. So this is more like between 3 and 4 stars, but I do think it's nicely written. So depending on how it ends, it will be 3 or 4 stars. I am going to meet her in like 2.5 weeks and I'm really excited about that. I do want to read how it continues. This is also a fantasy new adult with kind of, they call it a female origin story, and there is quite some romance in here as well. Which is not really my thing. Like fantasy and romance combined is just not it for me. But this one is quite okay. I'm really not unimpressed. It's definitely the best book out of the 3 in my opinion. So I would say that is a compliment for Dedroog, as Leigh Bardugo is very popular. But just not my favorite genre. So probably 3 stars, maybe if the ending is really good, 4 stars. I will let you know in my reading vlog. In the reading vlog of next Saturday, I'm reading this book and I will have finished it, so you will see it. So that was actually it already. Not the start that I wanted for this year, but I have so many amazing plans for February, and if I'm going to read all the books that are on my TBR, then we can forget January and the start of the year will be great. So I really hope that works out. I will post the video tomorrow, so if you're interested in that, please look it up. I hope you had a better start of the year. Please let me know in the comments down below how your year started. I hope for me this year Pretty Girls Make Graves will stay the worst book I've ever read, that I won't read anything worse. I also hope that if I read more very popular books like Ninth House is, that they will be more up my alley, because this wasn't it. And I also hope that my review copies, that I will get to read them quicker. But at least I read Pretty Girls Make Graves before the book club meeting of that book, so that was an achievement that I usually don't really get to make. And I finished 3, which is not as bad as I expected at the beginning of January, so quite alright. If you like this video, please leave a like, and if you subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell, you will be notified whenever I post a new video. Tomorrow there will be 2 very interesting ones, and all through February I have quite some projects that I planned for months. And also in March actually. So there are a lot of great videos coming up, so I would subscribe if I were you. I hope you'll have a lovely day filled with books, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye! I am so excited to show you my TBR tomorrow. I really hope that next month is going to be a better start of the year. Like a real start of the year, because what was this?